Welcome to Module 8. This is day 3. This is the doctor's report time. So let's talk a little bit about the whole purpose of doctor's report before we get started. Many offices will see a new patient and maybe adjust on the first day, or maybe even do a report of findings on the first day. Some offices will do a new patient exam and bring the person back on the second day to do a report of findings and have their first adjustment. Why do we spread this out? Why do we do a day 1, day 2, day 3 process? Well, you have to make a decision as a practitioner what type of practice you want to build. And in my mind, I wanted to build a family practice. I wanted a group of warrior patients who just wanted to keep coming in for the rest of their life because they knew the value of long-term chiropractic care. They knew the value of bringing their families in, bringing their children in to get checked. That's the type of practice I wanted to build. So to do that, there's a few things that have to happen to change the patient's paradigm. And this is the whole purpose of day 1, day 2, day 3 is remember that analogy where we're starting from the first date on day 1, and then day 2 is the courtship, and by day 3, you're asking that person to marry you. You've got your care plan set up. You're looking at long-term, some sort of corrective type of care or lifetime wellness care. And that's the thinking. I remember going into the office and having a full schedule of people through the day, and the majority of those people were just coming in not because they had symptoms, but they were coming in for their spinal checkup to get adjusted, just to come in because they knew that keeping regular chiropractic adjustments in their lifestyle was a good way to just keep their health at the most optimal level. And so that's the type of practice I wanted to build. So if that's the type of practice that you want, switching to this day 1, day 2, day 3 process is really a great way to start to build that. So we've done the day 1, we've created concern, we've built some rapport, we've created some trust with the patient, we've done the day 1 phone call, we've brought them back for day 2. We discuss how concerned we are with the fact that we have found subluxation, and especially if their exam findings have shown decay, degeneration, they've got nerve interference, whatever testing we've done, to support the fact that they are subluxated. That's the root cause of their problem. And not only is that causing the symptom that brought them in, it's actually degenerating their neurology, degenerating their nervous system, causing interference in that nervous system. And that's going to affect their organs. That's going to affect their overall ability to heal and function at the highest level. It's stopping them from becoming the person that they were created to be. And that was my whole thinking. So by the time they got to day 3, this was the time I get to share my vision. I get to share the whole purpose of chiropractic, the principle of chiropractic with them. And my goal was to change their thinking, change their whole paradigm, get them out of that medical model where they're doing destructive behaviors in their life and waiting till they break down, waiting till they get sick, waiting till their immune system is not working, and then going to the medical community, going to their medical doctor and trying to be reactive, trying to gain health from a bottle, take medications. I want to pull them out of that system. That was my thinking. And here's the mindset with going into day 3, especially if you're doing a group doctor's report, and you can do this in a one-on-one setting, but it is absolutely more powerful in a group doctor's report because you have the social proof. You have everybody together. You can be emotional, you can be passionate about what you're delivering. It's tougher to do that in a one-on-one report of findings type of setting, even if you're doing this on day 3. So I would encourage you to at least try that. Plus, if you want to build a higher volume practice, a group doctor's report is definitely the way to do it. So my mindset going into the day 3 group doctor's report was I was not there to sell anybody anything. I was there to change their thinking. And frankly, I got to the point where I did not care if they signed on for chiropractic care. I did not care if they became a patient in my office, but I did care about the fact that I was being completely unfiltered with the way that I saw healthcare and the way that people should be taking care of themselves to fully express their own innate potential. That was my thinking. So I was completely unfiltered in my doctor's report. And as a result of that, we built an amazing practice. We had people coming up to us after the doctor's report saying, "Why didn't anybody tell me this before?" And that was, to me, the sign, that was the benchmark that I was doing my job as a chiropractor. So here it is. So we want to objectively, we want to say, okay, the goal is to transform their thinking, transform their paradigm, and inspire them to a lifetime of chiropractic care, not just for themselves, but also for their family. And that's a big reason why we do the day one, day two, day three. If we want to build a family practice, now we've encouraged them to bring a support partner to come in for the doctor's report and see their x-rays. So if the support partner's there, they're getting the message as well, and the chances of them becoming a patient are much higher. The chances of a couple bringing their children in are significantly higher as a result. So there's some certain things that have to happen during the doctor's report to make this truly effective. So think about the fact that you have a group of people sitting there and you're about to present your message to them in a group format. It's like a little seminar in your office. Well, what are they thinking? They're thinking, how long is this going to take? What type of sales pitch am I getting? They're coming in thinking they're going to see their x-rays. Is he actually or is she going to show me my x-rays in front of this group? And how much is this going to cost? So we need to address those objections right off the start. So the opening, why are we in a group? Because the first part of this doctor's report is the same for everybody, and it's going to save us all a huge amount of time. So that's why we do it in a group. So how long will this take? Well, the first part of it, we're going to be here for the first 20, 30, 40 minutes, however long your doctor's report is. And I would say if you're going much more than 30 to 40 minutes, then you're way too long. There's certain docs that have taken a doctor's report that are uh, very great in speaking and sharing their message, and they can do that, but you have to be a great speaker and you have to captivate those people for a long period of time. If you're not polished at public speaking, that's okay. 20 minutes, 30 minutes is a great way to present your doctor's report with some emotion and all of the information that those people need to make a good decision for their chiropractic care. So, how long will this take? 20, 30 minutes, whatever the case is. We're going to look at some x-rays tonight. I'm going to show them some examples of exam findings, whether it's a scan, whether it's postural tests, whether it's x-rays, whatever the case is, it's not theirs. These are x-rays of examples of patients who have given me permission to use, and I'm going to show them those x-rays from the transition of when they came in, when they had all the problems, degenerative changes, abnormal alignment, subluxation patterns, whatever it is, and how they progress through the course of care. Those people have given me permission to use those x-rays, and I'm going to show all of the people in the group these x-rays and share the stories so that they can have an idea of what they're going to see when they see their own x-rays privately. So I'm addressing this right at the beginning. And how much will it cost? Well, we can go right into the fact that chiropractic care is something that people pay for out of their own resources. Insurance doesn't pay for your own wellness. Insurance doesn't pay for health. Insurance pays for sickness. So for the people that are just looking to spend whatever their insurance covers, they're probably in the wrong place. But here's the thing, and I always said this, is that our goal is to help people become the person that God created them to be. We will never turn a committed person away for finances. So if you're committed to getting this corrected, if you're committing to being the person that you really want to be and getting your subluxations corrected and becoming truly viably healthy, we will make it work for you. That was our total philosophy. That was our total motto. We never turned anybody away based on finances. And as a result of that, most people paid out of their pocket and they would pay our regular fee. Did we have situations where we made arrangements for people? Of course we did. Absolutely. But there were criteria in the fact that they had to be committed, they had to stay on their schedule, and they had to refer other people into the mission. And we'll get into that. So, high level overview. We change their paradigm. So, we empower all of our new patients that all of the healing they need is already inside them. Just like a cut heals on your finger, that same power that heals that cut. You don't have to think about it healing. The body inherently knows how to heal that cut. Well, the same power that's in there is healing all of the symptoms that they came in with as long as there's no interference. So we talk about removing the interference is far superior than treating symptoms with medications. The nervous system is the master controller of all body functions, all body functions. So if there's compromised nerves in the body cannot function, it cannot heal. And as long as they understood that, they would get the big idea. So we show normal versus abnormal x-rays. Now we show normal versus abnormal scans or posture pictures so that they would foreshadow what they're going to see with their own exam findings. And we would typically use the stories of these patients to manage objections. Here's Jason. He came in with a very straight neck. He was very skeptical about getting chiropractic care. He thought it might hurt. He thought it might be expensive. He thought it might be part of the problem. But we talk about all of the objections that he had and how we worked through them and how he got fantastic results. So we're planting seeds in their mind to manage those objections before they come up. And we use those emotional stories and the emotional wins. And then we basically finalize with the whole idea that the goal is for them to get correction in their spine, correction in their nervous system, not just treat their symptoms. So again, we're planting those seeds. The way we close it is we close it with an emotional, inspiring close. And remember, I went into this with the mindset that I'm not trying to sell anybody. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm trying to change their paradigm. So I don't care if they sign on or not. I'm not here to negotiate their schedule. We've come up with the perfect schedule for them, is very specifically depending on what their initial concern was and what their spinal alignment looked like, what the degeneration looked like, and we made a care plan based on getting that corrected to the best of our ability. So my closing was a call to action that number one, they needed to have commitment. So we were raising the bar here. And essentially, my thinking was I wanted to weed people out. I honestly wanted to weed people out. So if you're not committed to doing this, so let's not negotiate. If you need to be here 3 times a week for 8 weeks or 12 weeks in the initial stages, please don't tell me you can only come in once a week. Just tell me that that's not something that you can do. So I'm basically asking them to either commit or not commit, one or the other. So we raise the bar. We discuss that commitment. Secondly, I always tell them I had four sons. I had four boys. They were all adjusted right from the day that they were born. They never had medication in their lifetime, and they have honestly never needed it. And so we share that. And I tell them that it would be incongruent if I did not suggest or insist that those patients that are coming into the office at least bring their children in to get checked. I'm not telling them they have to start care, but they should at least get checked because wouldn't you rather know if your child's developing a scoliosis or if your child's developing some sort of spinal problem or neurological problem that could be corrected early that may stop them from having the same problems that their parents had down the road? Wouldn't they want that to know as or wouldn't you want to know that as soon as possible? So that was part of the call to action. So that was number two. So we had a plan in our office that every single patient, we had a process set up that we were going to get their children in to get checked. And that was all part of what happened. We trained on this as a team that when the people went to the front desk after their doctor's report and after they saw their x-rays, the staff would ask them, okay, let's figure out a time for your kids to come in and at least get checked. And you start doing that, and immediately your practice doubles. And then the last thing is that you've heard things here tonight that you've probably never heard before. And sometimes I would ask them to raise their, how many people have heard something tonight that they've never heard before or has totally rocked their world? And ultimately, half the room at least, and sometimes all of the room would raise their hand. So I would again make a call to action saying, people at your work, at church, on your kids' sports teams, your children's teachers, your neighbors, your friends, your family. There's somebody in your life that's struggling and suffering, taking medication in line for surgery that needs to know this stuff. Here's the call to action is that it's your responsibility to go and share the message. And we would hand out gift certificates for those people to then come in for a reduced fee examination. So that was the call to action. And honestly, that's what built our practice. That was a huge part of building our practice. So the doctor's report obviously takes some time to develop and develop your skills in sharing, but it's a great way to share the message of chiropractic and to share your mission, not only so patients get the big idea, but for you as a practitioner, there's nothing more fulfilling than being able to share your passion with people and see the light bulbs in their mind and the light bulbs in their eyes go off when you've totally rocked their world and changed their paradigm. So if this video has inspired you, if this is something that you want to start, have some discussion in the school group. There's lots of people, there's lots of docs, some very seasoned docs in the school group that would love to communicate with you or love to help you or give you resources that will help you build your doctor's report and make it really powerful. You have the opportunity to really change lives. So take this opportunity, use the resources here in the school group, and start building your doctor's report so you can not only build your practice, but you can really change the paradigm of the people who come to see you. There's a link to the doctor's report that I did in my office, a recording of it below, and you can click on that link and actually watch my actual doctor's report done in front of people live version. So please go ahead and click on the link, use the resources here. See you in the next module.